this right now, let yourself slow down for just a moment. Not because something dramatic is happening, not because you need to fix yourself urgently, but because your heart might appreciate a small pause, a soft breath, a gentle corner of quiet where nothing is expected of you. In this little space, imagine Rena Miyashita sitting beside you, not with intensity, not with pressure, but with that understated, almost shy warmth she's quietly known for, the kind that feels like opening a window to find a breeze waiting patiently on the other side. Rena is the kind of person whose presence doesn't crash into a room. It sort of tiptoes in, glancing around as if making sure it isn't interrupting anything important. There's something inherently Japanese about her softness, like the calm atmosphere of a countryside train station at sunset, where even the vending machines seem to whisper instead of beep. And yet, beneath that quiet exterior, there's a subtle humor in her energy too. The kind of humor that doesn't make you burst into loud laughter, but instead sneaks up on you later, making you chuckle when you suddenly remember it while brushing your teeth. You know the type. Gentle, slightly awkward, unintentionally cute, and somehow deeply relatable. Rena carries this aura effortlessly, and it shapes the way people emotionally connect to her without fully realizing why. If you've ever had a day where everything felt slightly off, your coffee tasted weird, your shoelaces kept untying themselves as if they were on strike, your phone battery drained even though you swear it was at 94% 5 minutes ago, Rena feels like someone who would tilt her head, listen to you patiently, and say something simple like, that sounds tough, in a tone so sincere you'd feel seen for the first time all day. She has that energy of a quiet friend who doesn't need to solve your problems, doesn't need to give a motivational speech, doesn't need to drag you into some dramatic transformation arc. She just sits there, present, kind, attentive, and somehow that alone makes your shoulders relax, even if you didn't know they were tense. There is a certain emotional vocabulary in her silence, a way she pays attention to the world that suggests she notices the small things other people brush past. She feels like the type who would remember where you left your glasses even though you forgot 5 minutes later, or the type who'd say, you look like you slept only 5 hours, with the accuracy of a psychic but the tone of a concerned grandmother. Not accusing, just softly worrying. Her softness is not weakness. It is the quiet strength of someone who understands that gentleness is sometimes the only thing that people can handle when they're tired from pretending they're okay. Rena's presence also comes with that subtle Japanese-style humor, the kind where she might tell a story about something small, like accidentally buying the wrong snack at the convenience store, and somehow make it sound like a life crisis in the cutest possible way. She'd hold the snack bag up and sigh dramatically, saying something like, I thought it was butter flavor, but it was seaweed. I wasn't emotionally prepared. And you would find yourself laughing because it's absurdly relatable in the most human way. That's the kind of humor she brings. Light, quiet, unexpected, and comforting. If you've ever felt like you're moving too slowly in life, like you're behind on achievements or behind in confidence or behind in becoming the version of yourself you hoped you'd be by now, Rena's energy feels like a soft reminder that life is not a race and your timing is not wrong just because it's different. She gives off the vibe of someone who gently blink at you with that slightly confused, cute expression and say, but why do you have to rush? In a way that makes the question feel profound instead of annoying. And suddenly you realize you don't actually know why you're rushing either. You've just been running without stopping because everyone else is running. Rena's presence invites you to step out of that collective hurry and breathe at your own pace for once. You know how in Japanese slice of life anime, there's always that calm girl who doesn't say much, but somehow becomes the emotional anchor of the friend group? The one who always seems like she's observing life with gentle curiosity, who sometimes says unexpectedly poetic things like, the wind smells like rain today, and everyone is like, but also weirdly moved? Rena feels like that girl. She's not loud, not dramatic, not chaotic, but she's quietly grounding in a way that feels precious. You can also imagine that she's the kind of person who secretly worries more than she lets on. She might smile a lot, nod politely, and appear calm on the surface, but behind that gentle expression, her thoughts might be swirling like tiny soft snowflakes bumping into each other. She might overthink whether her laugh was too loud, whether her comments sounded strange, whether she walked too fast or too slow. And yet, even her overthinking feels soft, like she apologizes even inside her own mind. There's something endearing about it, something human in a way that makes people automatically relax around her, because she doesn't try to be cool or perfect or stunning. She simply exists in her own unpolished warmth, and that is enough. embodies the emotional equivalent of a warm cup of tea, placed quietly beside you without a word. She doesn't hand it to you dramatically, she just leaves it there with a soft "here." And somehow that small gesture hits deeper than any motivational speech ever could. It's kindness without performance, comfort without noise, gentleness without expectation. Her vibe also carries a touch of clumsy charm, the kind that makes people secretly smile. You can picture her misplacing her phone while holding it, or trying to act serious only to break into a tiny laugh because she can't keep a straight face. It's the kind of natural, unforced humor that makes you feel like life isn't so harsh after all. If you've ever felt like your emotions were too much, Reena's presence feels like a reminder that sensitivity is not a flaw. There's something in the way she exists that suggests she understands emotional exhaustion far more deeply than she talks about. She feels like the kind of person who would say, "It's okay to be tired," with such uncomplicated sincerity that it hits straight into your chest. Not the performative "it's okay" that people say just to sound empathetic, but the genuine one that comes from someone who has quietly carried her own invisible heaviness before. There's also a subtle theme in her aura, the theme of acceptance. Not the loud inspirational kind where people dramatically tell you to love yourself more, with excessive exclamation marks, but the calm, grounded kind that whispers, "It's okay, really." It feels like she intuitively understands that healing isn't loud or glamorous or quick. Healing is slow, like moss growing on stones, like morning light creeping across tatami mats, like warmth gradually returning to cold fingers. And if you were to sit with her in silence, it wouldn't feel awkward. It would feel like the kind of silence where you don't need to entertain each other, don't need to impress each other, don't need to hide your fatigue. It's the silence of being understood without being explained. There's something deeply comforting in imagining her shrug slightly when you talk about your problems, not in a dismissive way, but in a life is complicated for everyone, so you're not weird or broken kind of way. You might rant about feeling lost in life and she'd nod slowly and say something simple like, "Yep, life is kind of messy," with a tiny smile that makes you exhale for the first time in hours. Her humor too slips in quietly, like when she tries to be serious but her voice goes slightly higher than she intended, or when she gently laughs at herself for mixing up words, or when she tells a story about something mildly embarrassing that happened to her and ends it with, "I still don't know why that happened," in a tiny confused voice. It's the kind of humor that doesn't try to be funny, it simply is. If you imagine her giving advice, it wouldn't be long speeches or philosophical metaphors. It would be something soft, slightly awkward, but weirdly helpful. Something like, "Well, maybe try resting, just a little, just 5 minutes, or 10. Or, okay, maybe 15. Actually rest as long as you want." And somehow that flustered, sincere attempt at encouragement feels more comforting than any perfectly crafted wisdom. There's also a sense that she empathizes deeply with people who feel like they're always almost enough, but not quite. She has the aura of someone who has doubted herself quietly in the past, someone who has wondered if she's doing things right, someone who has learned to survive not by being loud, but by being resilient in her softness. That's why her energy feels healing, because it comes from experience, not theory. Her presence is like a gentle reminder that your worth isn't determined by how spectacular you are. You don't need to be impressive to deserve kindness. You don't need to achieve something extraordinary to deserve rest. You don't need to pretend to be okay just to keep up with everyone else. Sometimes she feels like the embodiment of small comforts. Warm blankets, soft light, the faint smell of soap, the sound of rain outside, the feeling of finally sitting down after a long day. She's not dramatic, not flashy, not overwhelming. And that is exactly why she resonates so deeply with people who are tired of noise and pressure. If you're